But immediately the response here by Nova Esports is to get their very own power pick. Oh, talk about Corki. You cannot let it go when facing against Yetzi, and Neon would be the one to pilot this Corki.
We just talked about this a while ago, and he is going to be able to pick up the champion as well. Volibear hovered here by J-Team. This is a new strat that they're doing right now, because the orange support, they've tried it and they won a game against EDG because of it as well. Renekton is going to be nice. Shen available though.
I don't see Nova as a very big Shen team. And if we look into the lineup here of J-Team, there is also no place for a Shen anymore. Because they locked in the support, they locked in their jungler, and they also locked in their Baron laner. Unless if they flex the Renekton onto the mid lane, right? But, you know, picking Shen here, J-Team will put them in a 4 melee composition, and I don't think that's a very good idea, especially when facing against a Corki and a Swain for Nova. It just surprised me that J-Team just went all in and drafted, you know, 3 roles and gave away their strat really quickly, because we all know that Nova Esports, when on the red side, or any team in WRLA, will have a counter pick ready. And I think that if you are Nova Esports, you need more damage. Just looking at the tankiness of all these 3, definitely they need damage.
They need some sort of penetrating power here on the side of Nova Esports. Swain is not the way to go for the meantime. They need more. But this might actually go to remake in case Neon wants to really focus down on this Corki. Right now, J-Team is respecting a lot of possible support champions that Yang might pick. This champion is one of the signature picks of Long. He landed so many MVPs just because of this Fiora, and that is just going to be amazing here.
Best carry jungler available right now. After all the bans that we have seen so far, Long would be playing one of his favorites. In fact, you know, it kind of puzzles me right now as to why Yone is no longer within consideration by most of these players, right? Like normally if we see a Yone open, Nova Esports would auto lock the champion. But again, when looking at J-Team, they have drafted 3 very beefy frontliners, and so they will be content in playing for the late game with Zeri and also for the pokes of the Zoe.
Pick up Zoe, Nautilus as a response here by Nova Esports. Things are looking good here for both teams, but I kind of favor the ones here on J-Team. It's so hard to reach the backline. It's so hard to reach Yetzi, and yeah, even if Pan might be threatened at times due to the engages here of Nova Esports, it's so hard to deal with the rest of the members here of J-Team. So Nova Esports really needs to find a way to accelerate the pace here for Long and Yitze.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's so hard to reach them because of the amount of damage that can be put out by the frontliners of J-Team. But if they are able to penetrate through, they have lots of catch potential. They have the Nautilus, depth charge, automatic lockdown onto one of those squishy members is a good night or good move for Nova Esports. They also have the Camille, and I have been very vocal. I still firmly believe that Camille should be banned or respected 100% of the time, because this champion with just one skill can really turn around a fight. You know, one X-Tech ultimatum onto a primary target, and that is a carry that is sitting duck. Not to mention that, you know, facing against the Renekton, he may have or she may have a hard time the first few parts of the game, but as the game goes on, the Renekton will have a harder and harder time against the Camille. But we'll see. Again, that is just on paper. Guillaume is saying that he likes the draft of J-Team. Meanwhile, for me, I kind of like Nova Esports more.
Especially because of the Fiora pick, right? And the Camille as well by Nova Esports. Those are the kryptonites right now of J-Team's draft, especially their tanky front lines. And that's going to be the goal of Nova Esports as well. First game of this best of 7 series. Let's go.
And my worry as well was the damage of Nova Esports was a bit lacking during or when the 3 picks was locked in by Nova Esports, but it got remedied immediately when the Fiora got locked in. So Like Fiora should have enough damage against all the SPP members. One thing to note as well is that the Grand Challenge can be popped against anyone here, and it would help a lot when it comes to, you know, zone healing, because we all know one of the underrated aspects of the Grand Challenge is the healing zone that it gives to your team whenever it gets popped.
Oh yeah, especially for sustained fights, right? It just can simply turn the tides around. Suddenly, JT might find themselves losing a fight just because of that Grand Challenge proc. And again, as one of the minor things that they really need to consider, deny that opportunity from Yitze.
Oh,
He's being ganked right now in the bottom lane, but DY took more damage than he's supposed to just because of that tower.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that the Paddle Star did hit. I guess that is Pan for you, one of the best mage players that we have in the Dragon Lane. Originally a mid laner for J Team, and now we are seeing the first backs here. Again, rotation is definitely going to be a premium in this game. We all know that Yami and DY has this duel ongoing in the support role, and Engage is happening right now.
Yeah, remake. Yami just threatening down here in this Baron lane of Dawn. They got one plate
here
already.
Comes Long.
Long is here. Yeah, they want to dive. They want to
no
get a
flash.
kill. He's gonna go in first. That's the charge right there just for the knock-up. Reaction turn here onto Dawn. 1-2-8. It's gonna be falling down. DY is gonna be next. But Long is a little bit low. Reinforcements are incoming. Yetzi is here. The zap is gonna be there. And DY picks up the kill. A 1-for-1 trade at the very least.
Unfortunately for Long, right? He went for the lunge. Unfortunately, it did not hit or reach DY, and yet he being at the right place at the right time with that Ultra Shock Laser was able to get the return kill for J-Team. 1-for-1 overall, but I would say that J-Team got the upper hand because that's a lot of tempo that you were able to deny from Nova Esports. I thought initially that this is a Dawn cost, that the tower dives will be just a lot more easy to execute for Nova Esports, but the knock-up coming from the Ord, we all know how long the duration is. This is the launch I'm talking about, right? It took a long time before the cooldown for launches really takes a long time if it doesn't hit anyone.
Wow, JT making sure they get their values worth all through the plates here across the map. They were able to get some. That's why they're the ones leading a bit for a while in terms of gold. Right now, there is a switcheroo of places here between the players. They want to focus in the mid lane for the meantime. DY needs to be extra careful though, because every time it takes damage, that can be an opportunity here for Nova Esports to punish.
Yeah, but he's just out here buying items while outside the base, which means that this health will continuously grow over time. In fact, it does look like that his first item will most likely be the Warmog's armor. And that just means one thing, right? He wants to maximize the uptime of this Ornn, as you should, right? Because you kind of just have to maximize his passive. And again, just talking about the Ornn, the new passive of the Ornn, in comparison to the PC, where you are able to buy molten items, here in Wild Rift, it's quite different, right? So you are able to give your very own passive to your teammates at level 7, 10, and 13. Those are the numbers I remember. Which means that, yeah, you only have to buy near that particular champion that you want to gift that passive to. So, yeah, that will also be very vital because, you know, just imagine Pan not needing to go back home and build whatever item that he needs at level 7 is going to be key. But it does look like that, you know, we are entering a phase in where, you know, teams will prepare for the, you know, dragon fight, and we all know how strong the ultimate of Ornn and Volibear when it comes to level 5 skirmishes.
Every time there is a lull state or a passive moment here in the match, it actually favors J-Team usually. But in this case, Nova Esports benefits from it as well because they have like triple, quadruple scaling champions in their composition right now. And that's how they're dealing with the usual playstyle of J-Team right now.
True. This Camille also needs time to scale up. Same can be said for Swain. Although Swain is not really the hardest carry come late game. He needs time to stack up his Rod of Ages for sure. But looks like the TY is going to be here. Starting the fight, it's Nova.
Yeah, big damage already onto the Aura remake though, using the package, able to still back away, but now they turn. That's a first blood, or this first kill in this fight onto the Holy Bear, who's gonna get the dragon. Still gonna be Nova eSports as J-Team looks to back away. DY is solo, but right now Long is turning on to Yetzi. Needs to back away. They don't have any more objectives to fight on, but Long is keeping the fight in themselves. 1-for-1 at the very least, but Nova eSports getting the dragon is just better for them right now.
You know what? Long fought with 2 members and as if it's nothing, right? It's a 2v1. No problem at all for the god himself in the jungle. But with all said and done, that will be a 1-for-1 in objectives because 0711 is here. Again, this Volley Bear is just going to rack up health points. The worry that I have is this, right? Like, you look into this particular fight, and you would see that DY again had enough HP to survive. But more than that, it's Long's ability to get into the backline that really is going to be key here. Because Long, again, after securing the objective, his next target was to find all those squishy members or all those priority targets. He went for DY. DY was able to dash away, but the response here by Long, the 2v1 and making it as close as it can be against Yetzi and against DY. Only Long can pull off that trick.
Yeah, almost even secured a double kill right there in a 2v1 scenario. Plus, he was able to take the dragon, which is the goal right now in terms of scaling for Nova eSports. So right now, the pressure is on J-Team. How will they make sure they get the best value on this RH? Yes, they can push the mid lane tower, but can you get the second charge? I think that should be the goal here of J-Team. It's just so difficult to do that given the pressure that Long provides.
Not just him, also Yami, Neon being, actually not Neon, but Remake being in the right position, no second charge. But what J-Team will be doing is what you were saying, right? They are so academic and they tend to manipulate the game towards their favor. Just look at this, they are now able to get a second tower. On top of that, deny a full wave of minions here in the bot lane. That's tempo advantage for J-Team.
And they just do it so flawlessly, right? It's as if that tower was just given for free. But no, it's not because Nova eSports made a mistake. It's just that they needed to answer the waves in the mid lane and some in the top lane. That way, J-Team just had a slight window of opportunity to take it down. And they knew that from the very beginning. That's why this team is just so good.
They are indeed one of the teams that I feel is ready to take the next step, and that is to win a championship, right? Like, ever since I became a fan of J-Team, I never looked back. In fact, you know, I was a bit worried. Wait, hold that thought, and I will finish my thought later.
On Bringer, they turn here onto Yami just to flash for his life.
Just going back to my point here, Gail. I was a bit worried that you know, the move from Barry to Pan will not pan out. But turns out it was even a better choice because as good as Barry was on the Dragon Lane, Pan just unlocks a lot more playstyle for J-Team. But still, yeah, that will still be an option here in this best of 7, right? Like, Barry can show up anytime, and that is going to be in full consideration of Nova eSports as well.
I don't think they've ever lost a series with Pan as their Dragon Laner as well. That's how like the games has been here on J-Team, how flawless it has been, and how easy they were able to get their wins through him. That's why this is it. They keep on evolving. They initially were very passive. That's why one of our comments before is, why are they not making plays? Why are they so reserved? But they started to be more aggressive as well. That makes them a little bit more scary as well to face with.
And now that Pan already has 2 items, Luden's Echo and Rabadons, expect this Paddle Stars to really wreck your faces. Nova eSports going to get engaged here in Long. Sleepy Trouble Bubble just going to cast that repost to cancel out the sleep. But the 4-5 members of Nova eSports is now ready to contest this second dragon. We have to remember Nova already has 1 Drake for themselves.
Minor lead as well with the Scuttle Crab taken. So that's Vision. That is movement speed. They
Okay.
turn here.
Yami.
Good engage by Yami, but it's taking a bit
Oh,
more damage.
Hexagon
Hexagon
ultimatum.
onto the backline already as Yetzi's being threatened with the beater enchant as well. 0711 is no longer in the mix here of J-Team, and they're being conquered here by Nova Esports. 3 kills picked up already by the Camille. They will get the Dragon as well, and J-Team finds themselves lost in this fight.
I'm smugging right now. Giang. Because again, the problem right now is this Camille. One Hextech
Perfect entry.
ultimatum. One Hextech ultimatum onto a priority target is just so easy to execute. We saw this from yesterday. We saw this, multiple times now ever since we started casting Wild Rift. That Camille is definitely that one champion. That when she gets access onto the backline, it will be a lot easier to execute whatever you want to do. And here, Yetzi did try to, guess if Yitze will be there. Turns out he was right, but he was still in a position that one Hextech ultimatum can just destroy his health bar. Same can be said for Pan. And it was easy taking for Nova Esports. Now they have 2 dragons, multiple kills as well. Goal lead to Nova Esports. I don't know what J-Team would be able to do to counter out this Camille. Stasis maybe, but you have to remember that if you invest a Stasis engine, that's a huge chunk of gold that is taken out of your pockets.
And you're not even sure if you're gonna be given the safety that you need with that enchant. Nova Esports, the execution is just pure from them right now, and makes a lot more sense why they picked this composition. It's really a hard counter to J-Team's lineup right now. I had my reservations initially on how Nova Esports is going to be penetrating the backline, but after that fight, it just seemed so flawless from Nova Esports that they made it so easy.
Yeah, one hook shot, right? Even using the flash. And now that he has a Halt Breaker plus a Divine Sunder, if it ever becomes a side lane duel between the Renekton and the Camille should have an easy time, right? Like, you also would be seeing here that the Renekton did try to build defensively, going for Black Cleaver, not going for Blade of the Wind King to go for those ultimate duels. You would understand why, because he needs a lot more HP to survive any encounters.
Right now, they're trying to defend this top tier 1. Nova Esports unsuccessful with the push, but it's okay. They're the ones dictating the flow of the game right now. They're the ones who has the better scaling due to the 2 Dragon stacks that they have acquired, and they're just looking for more opportunities across the map. J-Team is the one that is being put into question right now in this draft that they have. Yetzi is nowhere near to having impact in fights right now.
Sure. And now J-Team will heavily rely on Pan. We know that one very good Paddle Star combined with Sleepy Troll Bubble can definitely delete one of the squishy champions that Nova Esports has. It's hard to execute though. We have to remember it's to rely on a Zoe is not really the game plan that they have, but looks like we have an engage here for Yami.
Oh, big burst onto the Nautilus. One of the counters on the Zoe, but now without him in the mix, J-Team can now push through in the mid lane. But given that there's no
Baron
taken aside from the Baron, I don't think J-Team will push through with this. Again, whenever Long is around, you just cannot risk it. That's a Sleepy Trouble Bubble. They so much damage there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's a recall. This is what I was saying, right? Like, J-Team is banking on the fact that Pan will hit his skill shots, and if it ever turns out into a kill, then that means that J-Team will just be more than happy to go for objectives such as the Baron. Wisely, J-Team backs away from the Baron, does not over pressure themselves into taking more advantages for themselves. They will be content with just one pick and taking the red buff of Nova Esports, and that is so JT-esque, right? Like every time that we see J-Team, they're a team that will not really be over aggressive. They will go for the calculated play, and the calculated play at that point is to just back away.
Yeah. And props to them right now, despite the pressure and the teamfight wins of Nova Esports, they're still able to equalize the goal that they have against them. Yeah. And I think that's a positive sign, at least here for this 15-minute game, because as long as they prevent Nova Esports from getting bigger objectives like Baron or Elder, then they should be fine. There's still ways that they can turn the tides around. Right now, Vision is really benefiting them. No eyes on
Oh.
Yeti. Finally, they get spotted out though.
Fight can start anytime soon here, and we have to remember 3 Dragons win condition is so huge for Nova Esports, so J-Team needs to deny this at all costs.
It's just gonna be spotted out. They turn
Oh
on
no,
him
he's dead.
immediately. Hexic Ultimate is gonna be used to buy some time and to escape. Fortunately, he was able to do so, but with the flash here of Dawn, the kill will be more possible.
Wait,
but Nova
what?
Esports threatening for
Okay.
the 3rd Dragon. They finally get the kill onto the Camille. Big ult there onto more members of Nova Esports. The
3
damage coming through from
dragons.
Yeti right now. The damage is pure as Pan follows through as well.
Huh?
Long being threatened. He managed to get the Dragon, but at what cost? This team
What?
fight right now is favoring J-Team so much, but Long managed
more?
to push through at the very
Oh,
end. One more
he's so
auto attack.
tacky.
DY survives. Wow.
He's so
he
tacky.
survives.
Remake did not have enough damage to get that kill over to DY now. 3 versus 1 DY with the Warmog's armor going to spot Remake here, and looks like that Pan, it's just an easy assassination now. We all know how mobile a Zoe is.
One paddle star didn't even need to. Just one auto attack, and not only did J-Team win a fight, they managed to bash through the mid lane towers as well. Let's check that one out.
Yeah, okay, so this is a very good plan by J-Team. They just know for a fact that Itse will go for the same play, which is to go backdoor and flank from that particular angle. And so what Don128 did was to be there, act as a defensive guard. This clash that happened, we all know that this was a 3v4, right? But it did not feel like that, right? J-Team, with all the AoEs that they have, with Pan being left untouched, was able to do lots of work for J-Team. And on live, we have a Baron takedown happening.
Oh man, they tried to turn right now. J-Team though took a lot of damage. He's just doing a lot here onto the
Wow,
background and got taken
Yitze.
down at the very end in exchange for Zeri. Right now, Nova Esports pushing in front. They know they have the numbers. DY's being chased down right now, has no flash anymore, and Long will finally get the kill onto him that he was craving since the last fight. Nova Esports this time will have access to this Baron.
And Nova Esports is running away with things. 3 dragons, mountain, ice, and fire right now. Pan, can you do the unthinkable and steal this Baron? Not gonna happen.
It's all a ruse. It was a plan by Nova Esports all along to bait them out through that ward, and they finally got the ace. They will get this Baron as well.
Oh, sure, and I think Nova takes the cake as well for game number 1. The pressure was definitely on J-Team, because we know that 3 Dragon Stack joining a quadruple scaling composition for Nova is a nightmare for J-Team. Just the fact that they were not able to take at least 1 inhibitor tower after that massive win during the earlier team fight was already questionable for me. Now we look into this replay, and this is Yetzi going down from Yitze's kicks, right? Like Yitze, although he was caught out of position in the earlier fight, he's able to buy a lot of time for his team. Same can be said right now. He might have died, but being able to get the head of the primary carry in the Zeri is basically mission accomplished for Nova Esports. And so now, Nova Esports, double trouble, Baron and Elder, this game is finished.
They got the Infinity Stones right now in this game. They basically got everything that they need to close out this game. Neglect don't look at the goal lead anymore, because Nova Esports has everything in the bag, and that last fight seemed to be a slight wombo combo that Nova Esports actually had through the spray and through the depth charge and through the tactical sweep into that Hextech ultimatum as well. And J-Team getting caught in all of those is not a good sign actually on their team fighting.
I just realized that we have some tongue twisters happening right now, Kiang. We have Yitze and Yetzi facing against each other. Oh man.
Amen,
But the Baron push is happening with the Elder Dragon buff. It's just so hard to contest if you're J-Team.
Yeah, 1-3-1 is the way to go. Nova Esports should get this tower in mid, as right now, that's the Hextech ultimatum by Yetze. DY is so low. 0711 is going to be able to fall back, but this base will not survive. Dawn turns onto Long, which is very ambitious, because now Nova Esports will have the confidence to just rain on them. Instantaneous kill on to that Zeri, as now Nova Esports will not hesitate. This game is well decided already, and Nova Esports will just take game 1.
Easy for Nova Esports. There were glimpses in where we saw J-Team being able to really get what they wanted, but in reality, if you give them 3 dragons and with the lineup that they have, right? Our concern was